1762. And so this is the channel of acceptance and the design of an organizational being. So gate 17 is following and the gate of opinions, and it's an Ajna gate, which is the green triangle that's pointing down up top on the body graph. And gate 62 is the preponderance of the small, or the gate of details, and it's a throat center gate, which is the brown square. And so the 1762 is about how logic influences humanity's thinking processes, shaping the way humanity reaches understanding. And the acceptance of mentally organizing information based on already substantiated details. And it's this ongoing internal process.
So this whole idea of the following is to recognize to follow is to learn how to lead, which is what the alpha wants, which is what gate 16 wants, which is what the whole stream wants, which is what the reason to focus, which is the whole purpose of a rhythm. You know, I'm keynoting all the channels and this whole piece of circuitry and this whole circuitry. And the following becomes the recognition of there's no end to hierarchies. There's no end to hierarchies of thought. There's no end to problem-solving hierarchies, and there certainly is no end to human hierarchy. Someone's always going to have another idea. The fear of this gate is challenge. I'm afraid of challenge. The fear of gate 4 right above it, which we just did the channel of before this, is fear of chaos. Chaos, too much stuff. The chaos is I can't answer the doubt. I don't know what and why. I don't even know where.
There's too many possibilities almost.
Yeah, there's too much. I don't know. So send it over to the other side. Those confusion guys, they love this stuff, man. Give it to them.
They can make a story about it.
Yeah, just give it to them. Just don't get it off my plate. The chaos, which of course it can't get it off its plate. So we're making jokes with that. Never give up what you are. You know, you're perfect, whatever it is. And so these two things, they do a lot. Chaos and challenge. It's a little too chaotic, and 17 is just, they're going to challenge my opinion. Is my opinion right? Have I gotten rid of my doubt? When you start hearing yourself talk like that, because you have one or both of these channels or the gates that are in it, some of them, you can start to recognize that's who I'm not. I'm under pressure to think about things that don't matter. I'm under pressure trying to whatever when that's who I'm not. I'm afraid of this and I'm not supposed to be. I'm nervous about where I am and I'm not supposed to care about any of that. Not my pressure. It's not me. And I don't have to worry about that. I can simply let it flow through. Not like you'll be any good at that in a day if you're just hearing this information now, but you know, you will soon. I did. If I can do it, anyone can, by the way. So it's got to be grounded in details. And that's what I was joking about before, going through this whole process of 63 all the way down to 62, because by the time you get to 17, it's like 17's got a very manifesting type of job. It's because it's on off. Are you gonna, is it your opinion or not? You know, Mr. Edwards, is that your final opinion? Is that your final, 17 has the job of yes or no. It's funny, the details come after the opinion. In this, the flow goes one way. It doesn't go both ways. I mean, the energy is allowed to exist in a flux both ways and every way, but the flow of the pressure comes from above through the formalization, out the opinion, meets up with details. It's like shoot first, ask questions later. Tell me how it's not that. So this can be a very trying place. No wonder it's afraid of challenge. And it's afraid of that it won't have all the details until it's got this whole life force. And then it meets together and becomes this quantum greater than what it was. And of course, it can start to know in its true self. It can accept positions of following because soon it'll lead. And it can accept positions of leading because it's sharing everything with everyone else to help them follow so they can lead. And it helps this process keep going back and forth, loaded with details. You never see details people with this definition not have an opinion and loads of details and have a big fat mouth about the thing that's going to say a bunch of cool things about something or a bunch of annoying things. And just like the 18 and the 58, that's just like the whole stream down there. Yeah. Just because it's your opinion, if you sense the timing isn't right, it doesn't matter your details. Stop trying to get them out or experiment and try all you want and notice the resistance. And instead of getting mad about the thing you can't get out, start getting happy about, oh my God, I see the mechanics. That was resistance. I'm still pissed because I couldn't get it out, but apparently a couple months from now, I won't even be pissed about that. That's how it works. That's what happens in this crazy mixing zone between 63 and 62. And that 63 is even called after completion. That's insane, because it's what happens before the completion. And 62, that the details come after the formalizing and the opinions take place and the mental process. It's such a symphony of correctness that it makes no sense, but then it ends up working perfectly. This is one of those places that makes no sense, but it works perfectly. After completion, and the gate is 63, and all the details are locked up, and they're only let out, after you got your opinion. It's almost like a corroborating force, and 62's job is to take all the details and become a metamorphic process, because everything that's happening inside the mind is just a collection of A, individual sounds, and B, light. This is the whole wavelength here is trying to get people to see the picture. This is, can you see the picture of land? I mean, painting a picture, same thing with the idea that they want you to see the picture, but this one is, can you concretely see the picture, and do you agree? And that's all where the details then show up and take a metamorphic process. That's why the details come after, because the whole thing that was the concept needs to undergo a metamorphosis from sound and light into articulated words and a flow and a meter and a tempo with a certain timbre that is going to be influential and influence the other as about to what it is they've got. And if you try to turn that into reverse, then you get a lot of not solved problems out of that, and a lot of bitterness, and a lot of running away, and a lot of wondering if you spoke too much. It's not for you. You don't need it. Do you got anything you want to add to that? Because I just rambled for a while.
Yeah, I just let you. Good stuff comes out when I just let you talk.
Thank you, Moni.
Yeah, welcome. Thanks for seeing cool stuff on the show. Yeah, with this channel, I like to continue that analogy of how the 63.4 and then the 17.62, it's the scientific process, right? So the last channel we just went over is the 63.4, and it's the doubt and the why. And then the 4 comes up with a possibility, and then now we move to the 17.62. So 17 is the hypothesis. I don't know, maybe it's this. I hypothesize this thing, right? You have to come up with the hypothesis before you can test the hypothesis. So that 62 is that, like, the details to test the hypothesis. So that's
and to metamorphosize that hypothesis into words.
Yeah.
That can be spoken intelligently in a meter and a tempo, directed at the right way to the right people.
Yeah. And then it's interesting too, because my boyfriend has the 17, but not the 62. And it's really interesting. First off, is as he switched over, because he also has the 43.23. So he'd always say, like, I know. But it's like the 17 was providing like hypotheses, but it was coming through this voice of I know, and it like felt off. And so he started playing with, oh, I hypothesized. Oh, I have this opinion. And he started presenting these 17s, type of energy as opinions and as just like, I don't know, it's a hypothesis. Maybe, I don't know. And the energy felt so much cleaner and more attractive. And it just felt more correct. So that's like the first thing I noticed. So if you have the 17, play with like that kind of language instead of being like, I know, or I bet you, because it just kind of, it's not the voice.
It's challenge. It wants to challenge.
Oh, it totally does. But like, you come off way smarter and way more attractive. Like, it was like way more like, you look good when he's using it. Really, I swear to God, like hands to God, when that 17 comes out as I hypothesis. I don't know, it's just an opinion. And it just lends itself to like, oh, I want to hear more about your opinion, or like, oh, there's a humility to it. There's just a maturity to it. And the other thing is, if you have the 17 but not the 62, don't worry about chasing the details. Because that's another thing I would start noticing with him, is he'd present this hypothesis or this possibility, right? And then
he'd go get frustrated about the details he couldn't necessarily metamorphosize.
Yeah, and then he would keep digging for them. And he was like, he would be chasing these details. I'm like, I don't want the details. Like, I had zero interest in it. Like, I already had shut off my interest of just give me the hypothesis. I don't need all these details. I already get it. I get what you're hypothesizing. You don't need to chase the details. So that's what he's been playing with recently. So that's been interesting, is that energy as we're experimenting and seeing how that feels and him adjusting to it.
Good generator. I approve.
He's the best.
It's so good. No, Ika he'll notice. that I know and I hypothesize, when it is I know, he doesn't have to worry because the generator in him will take care of that.
Yeah.
It'll
Yeah,
sound
and
right.
just in general, he's just like really taken on this. Like, I hypothesize maybe it's a possibility, and he just feels so much more mature and attractive, and it just comes off better. So, like, that's the other thing with human design. It's like you learn these little tiny little keynotes and these little analogies and these stories to understand these energies, and it really just gives you these little baby experiments. These really
Yeah.
like tiny little see what happens, play around with it, have some fun kind of experiments.
I've got one that actually I just realized that I'm in, and I'm in it all the time. The experiment of, if you look at my body graph, it looks, the 43 is this place that is the only split in my body graph because I have no gate 23. So much gets focused on the 43. It's defined twice. It's got a third line which says, I don't care what the retribution is or what the stakes are, or how much condemnation I'm getting. I have to be, I know. And but the other three gates in my head center, so 3 to 1, they're collective. So they're not bad at all. And so I've gotten used to saying my opinion, and it lets me off the hook. The
That's it.
thing is, yeah, and I've
It
been
lets
saying,
you off
well, in
the
my
hook.
opinion, that's in my opinion. In my opinion, it's this. And the thing is, the energy underneath, I already know is still I know, or I think I know, or what I thought I know, I said it as my opinion. I get that. It doesn't change the process. It's just it is my opinion because I've got confusion with that abstract channel going on. I've got gate 63 defined twice, first and second line. It's my only first line in my body graph is 63-1. So if there's one thing I know I'm going to focus in on for foundation building is assuaging doubt in one way, shape, or form, dealing with it as a foundational matter because I've only got one first line, and to get rid of that pressure of proving it or anything like that was to start to say, in my opinion, and I liked it too. I was like, dang, I sound smart, in my opinion. Let's see if they take my opinion.
That's smart. Yeah, it lets you off the hook. And also it's like as an undefined, head Ajna person, it feels like there's less pressure on me in a way. Because it's like I'm around like a defined Ajna and I'm just like, why I have to prove my point? And no, I know this thing. And it's like, no, I don't. Why? Like, I don't care. I don't actually care. Why am I doing this? And so even hearing like, oh, it's just my opinion, I almost feel like it would let me off the hook to kind of drop some of that pressure that I feel to try to prove myself in my undefined Ajna that doesn't know anything for certain. Like, who knows? So that's fun.
No one knows anything for certain is the funny part. It's just the ones that are supposed to have certainty for some type of energy and the stuff they say, got to recognize that. That's all. They don't
Mm-hmm.
know for sure unless they truly do, which is rare. I mean, it's not the norm. Most of the time, we're hypothesizing and opinionating and coming up with ideas and fanciful things like you're saying. Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. The outer gates say I believe and I hypothesize, and they should do most of the talking for gate 43, in my opinion. In our society, the way we currently are, it would be so much easier.
Hmm. Yeah, it's just softer. I hypothesize. I don't know. I got an idea. I don't care. Throw it out if you don't like it. Like
Hmm.
it softens everything and it doesn't make it so competitive in a way.
Right, right.
Good stuff.
Indeed.